Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 45. In this episode, I talk with Lekeshia Angelique. Lekeshia is a relationship coach, a life coach, and a diversity and inclusion professional. We talk about so many things, to include staying positive, how to fight imposter syndrome, and George Floyd and diversity and inclusion. You really won't want to miss this episode, and there's so much to learn. So I encourage you to stay till the end. You won't be disappointed. And actually, this episode started in the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. We did a Facebook Live, and Lekeshia was a guest. I found it so valuable that I had to share it here too. I would urge you, if you like this episode, to join the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. Every Wednesday night, we go live with a new guest who can teach us something, like about diversity, inclusion, loving yourself, how to fight anxiety, stop being a people pleaser, all sorts of different things. Most of those episodes you won't find here. So head on over to Facebook and join Ordinary to Badass group today. And now to the episode. So today we have with us Lekeshia Angelique. And Lekeshia, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you heard, I am Lekeshia Angelique. I have a ton of kids, 5 actually, 2 sons and twins. All the twins are all girls, and then my son's 22. He's in Des Moines, Iowa, on a football scholarship, graduating this year with a business major. The girls are not sure what they're doing. I am the founder and CEO of Love Her Wellness, where I teach women, ambitious women, how to heal, find clarity and confidence in their personal lives and relationships in order to scale their businesses, and self-love centered practices is what is the basis of my programming. So guilt-free self-love is what we practice, and that is what I love. And I'm also alumni of Cornell University, where I got my diversity and inclusion certificate from there in Ithaca, New York. And I teach organizations how to bring diversity and inclusion into their organizations, into their core values. So, yeah.
Yeah. We've been talking a while about having this Facebook Live, so I'm glad that we got to make it happen. Thank you so much for coming on today.
No problemo.
And just kind of because it's tradition, I have to ask you if you consider yourself ordinary or badass.
You know, if you had asked me this probably like 3 months ago, I would probably say ordinary. But I think I'm kind of badass now. I think
I love it.
Yeah, I've stepped into everything. I've realized everything that I've done is not so normal. Like, I really hate the word normal, but yeah, I think that it's not normal. You know, it's out of the ordinary. So
what changed?
It went while creating my course. Like, I went through my own course and transformed myself, you know, and really, you know, coaches need coaches, right? So in coaching myself and creating the program that I have for women, I really took a self-assessment and really understood everything that I've been through, and really taking that self-doubt out, because I had a ton of it, even with everything that I've been through. We talked a lot about the imposter syndrome, which I had a ton of. all of my successes, I would have these, but I was just in the right place, or I only because, or these other statements that would kind of downplay, the Cornell University. Oh, it was only because, the cohort that I was selected for, was
Mm-hmm.
a one-time thing, or whatever it was, but I was
Right.
still selected, right? Um, and I just didn't think that what I was doing was that special, or
Mm-hmm.
I was doing what I had to do to take care of my kids, my family, and that was it. So realizing, like, one of journaling has been huge for me to see, especially going back and reading some of the 2015 journals that I had. Oh my goodness, she was a hot mess. She was a hot mess. So the growth, just seeing the growth that I've had in that
Yeah.
time frame, yeah, it's just been amazing. So, yeah.
So how long ago did you start Love Her Wellness?
So I started Love Heart Wellness 2 years ago, and the first year I kind of was just peeping at her, like doing one thing here, one thing there. And then 2020, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then COVID happened. And I really thought that COVID was going to be like a stop here with my business, but it was a go, go, go. It really propelled me into kind of where I am today with it. It really pushed me forward because I had the time to really, I've never had a time to stop. Like, I've literally been going since I was 17, you know,
Uh-huh.
taking care of kids and working and just going. So COVID gave me that you can't go anywhere. Sit home
Yeah.
and figure this out. And that's
Right.
what I did. So I've literally just been diving in, um, fixing, twerking and tweaking, not twerking. There might have been some
Twerking too, you're at home.
there might have been some twerking. It gets a little boring in the house. There might have been some twerking. Um,
It does. It does. You got to do what you got to do to get through Corona.
we're all getting a little stir crazy. um, Tweaking my program. And just talking to some amazing women. Like, I've literally been running into all kinds of amazing women. Like, we've connected. I've connected with so many different women across all different kinds of platforms, and just taking in different advice and different little nuggets from here and there. And it's been just amazing.
So you're a mom of 5 kids, and a lot of people would find that intimidating to start a business. Like, how did you get up the courage to do that?
I think I thought it was like my time. Like, raising kids is definitely a feat, it's a feat in itself. But I think starting a business is less trouble than raising kids, to me. Scheduling, having twins, having kids, scheduling is important. So
Yeah.
if you have a schedule and you implement a schedule early on, habits, consistency. I don't have my consistent necklace on, but I went to the intent project even before, like, COVID or any of that. This year, I had vowed that consistent was my word. So I have a necklace from the intent project. Me and my partner both. She has a bracelet. I have a necklace that says consistent, because that was our word
Yeah.
in everything that we do, and it's a part of my program as well. Um, to consistent. As long as you do something consistent, it will be successful.
Yeah. And did you find that having the necklace or something to remind you helped you remember to stay consistent?
Yeah, because when I'd see it, or if I take it off and then have to put it back on, then I'd be like, oh yeah, like, back out today, because I did say I'd be consistent, and like, I
Right.
tried to hide it so I wouldn't have to look at it. And yeah, it does a reminder. And I need that. Like, my water bottle lights up and tells me to drink water, because I want it to be consistent with drinking
Right.
water. So if I don't drink, it lights up, and if I don't drink still, then I get a notification to my phone that's like, yo, we like told you to drink water. So I need
Well,
those type of visual reminders to make me do things. So you
yeah.
have to do what works for you, and what works for you might not work for someone else. So finding those things, I think that's the most important, is finding what works for you, because I do things a little different when it comes to my coaching, and especially with a lot of the women that I coach, they do have businesses. So scheduling and business coaching naturally comes into play when it comes to relationships and stuff. And, a lot of coaches out here will talk about having 10K months and all of these things. And I'm so against that. That term, like, we don't talk about financial um, numbers like that, 5K, 10K, or, mention those it's based in, self-love and your goals, so the money will come. So once you get those things in place, the money will come behind it. You won't need to chase numbers. Of course, having financial goals, you need those in business because you are running a business.
Right.
But starting off saying, oh, I want to coach you to get a 10K month. If you don't have the mindset to manage a 10K month, you're still going to reach a block, or you're going to fail at some point because you don't have the mindset to go along with it.
How do we practice self-love? What's something, if you're like beating yourself up or hard on yourself, what's something that we can do to practice self-love?
So another thing that's different about my program is that it's totally customizable. So we talk about what is it why are you beating yourself up? What past trauma are you suffering from that is causing you to have these blocks, and how can we get you over them? So that's what the Love Her is: heal, evolve, rediscover. That's what it stands for. And that's the process. It's a 3-phase process that we go through, and I'll take you on a journey to heal from the past, evolve into the woman that you've envisioned yourself to be, and rediscover a life as that woman that you were envisioning yourself to be. So that's how the program is set up.
Is your coaching program for all women or just business women? Who's it for?
It's for all women. Yes, it's very inclusive. I make sure of that. My website definitely shows that. My web designer knows that all language and photos and anything on my website has to be super inclusive, because I don't want anybody to think it's not for them. Literally, like, I did have a guy reach out to me wanting to go through my program, and I'm like, what on my website resonates with you? I might need to review some of my language if you resonated here. And it wasn't like he saw himself as a woman, because that would have totally been acceptable. But he was like, oh no, I'd like to change. He wanted to take my imposter syndrome class, which
Okay.
is what it was. So I was like, oh, okay, because you had me scared for a minute. But the imposter syndrome, which I don't teach to both sexes, because I'm a women's empowerment is just my jam. But I told him we could work together on creating something that's gender neutral, and we'll get that together. But I just feel that imposter syndrome, while both sexes absolutely suffer from it, I think that women, we have these self-imposed prisons that we put ourselves in, and we just, have to be over credentialed before we take that leap. It's just like, to be the best in our industry, we have to have all these credentials. Our website needs to be the best. We have to have everything in place and perfect before we launch our business, and then we've lost a year or two of time that we could have already bid out, getting our first client to actually pay for those things that we've, lost money on. So I'm trying to prevent that with, my business model is like, no, jump now, and then let's work through the process of how to clean it up later. Take imperfect action is definitely what needs to happen.
So for the woman that's really struggling, like she's feeling like an imposter, either with business or trying something new, it could be a sport, it could be whatever, like running, say, what could she do to get over her imposter syndrome?
So actually right now we're in day 3 of a free imposter syndrome class. And I offer that like every 2 months in my mastermind group, which like I said, is free. And we go through tips, 5 days of tips on how to eliminate imposter syndrome for good. So there's a workbook that comes with it. There's journal prompts and everything to really deep dive into why you have the imposter syndrome. There's quiz in the beginning. I give away freebies. I love freebies. Like I give away journals. I give away books. And working, being with the other women in the group is a help too, because they give you ideas like, oh no, you should do this, and then access to my resources, like the people that I use for my website, my copywriter. Like, I'm a big proponent of outsourcing the things that you're not passionate about, because that's
Mm-hmm.
where you get stuck and waste your time. Outsource.
Right, right. And I think moms need to outsource more. We don't like,
Oh, yeah.
you don't have to do everything yourself. You can have help and stay with things that you love doing or that bring you joy rather than wasting so much time on the things that just like suck up your energy.
Annoy you to no end. Yeah. And then like a lot of you're in business groups, or you have like you're in the group, say you join the mastermind group, and there's someone in the group with you who does copyright, and you do photography, and you're like, oh, I live in the same city, I need photos. You're like, hey, I'll do your copy if you do my photos. Like, you're literally spending no money, you're trading services. And that's what I tell them, like, you can find someone who's just starting out too and trade services in some of these groups that you're in.
Yeah.
And that's a great way. Like, you won't, people trying to build their portfolio, you may not have the best of the best. Like, you don't have um, Coca-Cola's marketing person, right? Because you're not Coca-Cola.
Right,
Don't
right.
compare your day one with someone's day 1000, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I try to teach them. Like, you're at day one. Everybody starts with no Instagram followers. Everybody. You open
Right.
the account, you have no followers. So don't compare yourself. And all of these things we go through. Sorry.
Yeah. And I
So
know, like, I used to, when I would make a mistake at something, I used to beat myself up, like, repeatedly, be like, oh my gosh, you're so stupid. Like, what are you doing? Nobody else would make this mistake. But again, it comes back to comparing yourself to where somebody else is, but they're further along in their journey and have already made the mistakes that you're making right now.
right. You make mistakes, and we learn from the mistakes, because if we didn't make any mistakes, then how would you know? Like, literally, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about all that, and the women in the group, share ideas with each other. They cheer each other on, and no negativity. This is like the first group. You know how hard it is to have a group with no negativity, right?
Yes. Yes.
Zero negativity. Just coaching each other through the homework assignments, and come back the next day for the next set of instructions. So that's a good way to, of course, do it on your own, DIY it, come through the free group. And then, of
Yeah.
course, doing either one-on-one coaching or a group. I do offer group coaching. It starts every 90 days. But literally, because of everything going on, like, this is my last month taking on clients, because I've had so much with everything else going on. So
Right.
yeah.
So can you talk about the power? I mean, this ordinary to badass group here is mostly women, but can you talk about the power of a woman tribe?
Man, so powerful. Women probably, not probably, women should be running the world. Like, it would be so much better if women were,
Yes.
right? Um, it's so powerful to have other women, because they've been through what you have. Someone's been through everything you've been
Yeah.
through before. So having that sense of self, that sense of home, like, you don't have to be embarrassed about asking a question and having somebody mansplain something to you. um you know
I've never heard that before.
Oh my God. You think mansplaining, this is like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know what you mean. I know how to read, actually, too. Like, you don't have to deal with that when it comes
Right.
down to being in a group with nothing but women. Like,
Yeah.
that's my pet peeve. Like, I work with this guy that after everything he says, you know what I mean? And I just want to smack him sometimes. Like, yes, I know what you mean.
Yes. Yeah.
So the power in us is just so powerful, and it can change, move mountains for sure. if we come together as a tribe and we can make some change, some huge change, some huge impact in this world, not just with, our businesses, but social justice and everything that's going on in the world today. Like we can move mountains here.
Yeah. And it's so much easier.
We've given them a chance.
Oh yeah. And it's so much easier when you see that other people are going through similar things as you, and what you're doing or feeling is normal. Like you're not on an island of your own.
You can literally be like, who's 9 months pregnant and his water's broke and is doing business while on the way to the hospital, and someone be like, oh my God, I was just like that and this is what I did. Like, where else can you, like, if you're in a group and you have men in there, they're like, oh my God, you should probably lay down and not do anything for the next 500 years. Like, that's what you'll get with that. So it definitely makes a difference when anything you say, someone has done it. Someone is gonna back you up and be like, oh, this is what I did or whatever. I mean, we can be catty as well. We can be catty. But when you literally find the right, and when you weed those people out, and those that are just not ready to have the right mindset, you can have amazing groups and get some real work done.
Yeah, I also think there's a lot to be said. Like, you don't seem catty to me, at all. And so a lot of times people will feed off that energy. Like if they were getting it from you, they would do it too. But if they're not, they'll go elsewhere.
Yeah. I know the first couple of days after like the George Floyd murder, like I was like super mentally drained. My son was in a really sad place, and he didn't want to have kids, and then that meant I was gonna have no grandkids. So now like my lineage is being threatened, and it would take 2 mental days to really recover from that. And I found myself being really negative. And I'm never like a negative person. Like literally people are like my job it sucks when I was working in place, and people will come in and be like, you're always smiling. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, it sucks. Why are you always smiling? And I'm just like, because like it's just a job. Like you will leave here and then you go home to your family. Like there's no reason to be angry. Just ignore them, and they're like, how do you do it? We hate it here.
But seriously, how do you do it? Like, what do you say to yourself, or what do you do to stay positive?
I think because I have that, I came up with my vision map, right? And there's 4 categories in the vision map. And if it doesn't fit into one of those categories, I say no to it. Whereas before, I was a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And I would be like, yes, okay, I'll do that. I can fit that in. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. And I was literally working sun up to sundown. Now, today is a little different. I know it's late now, but these are things that I want to do. This type of stuff like gives me joy. It brings happiness to me. It feeds my soul. Like I could probably literally do this all day, every day, and like bore you guys to death with tons of information that you probably don't want. And I'm happy,
Yeah.
So if it doesn't fit into those categories, and that's one of the first things that we do, we figure out what those categories are for you, and you set boundaries. I set boundaries. People who drain my energy, cut off. Like, and it's not like you're out my life, you're out my life. But if one starts to drain your energy, you're like, hey, I have to go now. Like, when you need to cut these people off. And family members, I don't care who you are. Other than your kids, they drain your energy, but you gotta, put up with them. So I don't recommend setting boundaries for your kids that cut them off. I didn't tell you to do that.
But I think that's important for us to remember, when you're doing something that you love, you're going to have so much more energy, and you could do something much longer than just wasting your time doing the stuff that doesn't matter to you or doesn't bring you joy. So I think that's an important point. So
coming to me, like every time someone comes to me, they come with the same thing. So we start, what's your goals? I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better spouse. I want to lose weight. And I need to manage my time better. always those four things.
Right.
And they're failing at all of them because
Mm-hmm.
they're unhappy, because they're people pleasing, not setting boundaries. They're not taking time for themselves. And you can't do any of those things. You can't lose weight because you're overeating, or you're not taking time for self to go to the gym or get a workout in. You're making excuses, all of these things. So I'm not a fitness instructor, or in finances, I need a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
I'm not a finance expert. I'm not any of these things, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
specifically, those are not my areas, but I know that when you practice self-love, you will make better food choices, you'll make better money choices, you'll make better choices with your time. You'll make all of these choices better because you know what you need in your life. So
Right.
in turn, you're like, man, I have more time, I have more money, I've lost weight.
More energy.
Information. Here you go. You're welcome.
Yeah.
It just that's the transformation that you paid me for, because literally you have the answers. People have the answers in them.
Yeah.
They need coaching to pull it out. Like they're
Right.
full of the excuses um, of why they can't, because it's comforting. It's comfort.
Yeah.
We have to get uncomfortable a little bit.
Absolutely. That's where the biggest change happens. And you
Yeah.
kind of hit on it, and it was actually going to be the next question that I was going to ask. Why does somebody need a coach, or why would they want a coach?
Yeah. So getting out of that comfort zone is hard by yourself. You'll be
Yeah.
like, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, leap day, you pick a day that you're going to do all of those things that I mentioned. But having that accountability, a lot of people need someone else to be accountable to, someone
Mm-hmm.
to push them, someone to give them a different perspective on things.
Right.
Sometimes, especially with healing from the past, you don't know what that block is. Sometimes, why am I overeating? Why am I excessively spending money, or whatever your vice is? Some people, the vice that's keeping you're self-medicating your depression, your anxiety, or these things.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you're doing to suppress that? You don't know, or you have these feelings and you haven't really, you just say words like I'm always sad, but you're really depressed. And so
Right.
exercise helps with the happy hormone comes from exercise, but you can't get up to exercise because you're too tired. This vicious
Yeah.
cycle, right?
Yes.
So having a coach helps push and get all these nasty feelings up and out,
Yeah.
and then comes this happy person that
Yeah.
being all the time.
So I know you said that your challenge right now, or your free challenge, is with the group. When they're getting coaching from you, is that just you, or is it just you in the group, or how does that work?
So I have two ways. I have one-on-one, which is just me, one-on-one via Zoom, or in the group. But my groups are very small, only 9 people in the group. So I don't do more than 9 because it's just hard to really give that individual, still have that individual attention,
Yeah.
even in a group, and still kind of hit on those points. But the group is really good too because it is intimate, and they feed off of each other and they give each other ideas. And then,
Mm-hmm.
the group feeling, some people enjoy having more than just me to interact with on a weekly basis, and outside of um, the weekly interaction, they're in the group together and they have a separate group where they can talk and chat, versus
Right.
waiting the next week to speak with me or whatever. So
Yeah.
just preference.
Yeah.
But then some
Both are
people,
powerful.
yeah, some people are just so closed off that they're still really like, I don't want anybody to know, what's going on. So they just want to
Yeah.
be one
Yeah.
on one. And one's not better than the other, and the programs are both awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course I would say they're awesome because they're mine.
So I know you talk about like trusting yourself and following your intuition. How do we go about doing that? Because that can be really hard.
It can be. I say usually, I always say myself as a coach, like it's like your GPS. Like you know where you're going, but you just need a guide. So trust yourself to know what you want, but you need someone to help you just get there. Because I can't give you, like, literally me telling you, like, oh, you want to be a magician and I'm going to help you be one. You're like, what? Like, I don't think I like that work. No, it won't work, right? You
It
gotta,
doesn't work like that, right?
no, it's something in you that you're like, well, I've been thinking about, and this is what I really like. Like, this is the things we go to. So it's like career coach, um, so much in one, like being a life coach, which is why when I was a therapist, me and being a therapist didn't mix well because there's so many restrictions um,
Uh-huh.
in the therapist world. And I would want to say, hey, look, this is what you should do. But the law tells me I can't do that. Right.
Yeah.
So it's very,
Right.
very restrictive. I got 12 sessions to meet you with, you know,
Uh-huh.
and then the insurance tells me that I have to tell you, like, I literally have this paper now, like, I have 12 sessions that I have to tell you these things in, and I have to use this theory. So having my own business, my own creative control over the process, and just taking out the diagnoses part and some of that, you know, medical stuff was okay with. You know, I still have the education, the background, and everything to be able to understand depression, anxiety, you know, mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and I refer out. Like if I see something like that, then that's when it's like, hey, you need to see your primary care. So I don't
Yeah.
do any for sure, but um yeah, having my own business is just way better than being confined to the healthcare system.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that you were able to pivot and change
Yeah.
based on what wasn't working for you. And it sounds, I'm sure that that skill though helps you now in what you're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest selling points and why people choose me, because I mean, while we talk about, I think they come because people still like to see like credentials and things, while we say you don't need credentials.
Yeah.
um, I think it provides an extra layer of comfort when you're
Yeah.
doing kind of stuff like this, especially now with when COVID came. A lot of people experience, you know, cabin fever and depression, and you know, just a wealth of emotion happened with
Mm-hmm.
COVID. So couples not knowing what to do with each other, being trapped with
Yeah.
each other. Not they shouldn't feel trapped, but they are feeling trapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Divorce rate spiking, supposedly, allegedly. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But
Well, I would believe it. Being stuck with somebody all the time, and then people are having financial issues because of everything that's going on. There's just a ton of dynamics right now.
yeah, yeah, very, very much so. So, you know, it definitely helps with um, having that background in
Yeah.
psychology.
Yeah. So you're a diversity and inclusion coach, or what would you call yourself?
I am a D&I professional. I do assessments for corporations, and I've done it for, I say, one of the most diverse organizations in the world, being the government, and one who doesn't have a bottom line tied to it, which makes it even more difficult to make them adhere to those rules and regulations. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's one of my other passions, is the diversity and inclusion piece of women's movements and empowerment, even though women's not the only piece to D&I, but yeah.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit earlier about George Floyd, and that's really kind of, there's a movement going on right now, and asking for change. But there's also a lot of people who are feeling uncomfortable because they don't want to offend somebody. What would you say to those people?
I would say find someone that you're comfortable talking with and start having that dialogue. Like, literally, you're not going to learn, or if you're uncomfortable, like researching online, some books, watch some movies, um, have those tough conversations, because that's the only way we're going to get anywhere, is to have those tough conversations. Like, not saying anything is compliance. You know, that's how we feel. Silence is compliance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Martin Luther King quote that I post often is, there comes a time when silence is betrayal. So speaking up, even if it's to say I don't know what to say, is
Right.
more than not saying anything. Like I don't know what to say, but I know this is not right, and this is a human's right issue. Um, Help me help you. What can I do? Asking those questions, and you'll
Mhm.
get answers. Sometimes they'll be like, I don't know what you can do either. We don't have the answers. We are all trying to figure this out. Like, this isn't a problem that we created, so we're trying
Yeah.
to figure it out too. So um
So,
ask questions and have a learning attitude.
right. What's like a basic question that someone could ask?
um Let me think about what someone's asked me. I guess it depends on like who's asking what, like what industry you're in, um, or where you're from, because it's going to be different if you're in
Right.
Alabama versus if you're in New York, of what kind of questions you'd ask, what's offensive and what's not. Literally, we're having laws that are just being passed about, our hair, like being able to come to work with my hair being curly. Like that's got to be in 2020, that's being a law being passed. Like, did you know that? You know,
That was a law that you couldn't?
it wasn't against the law, but they were discriminating against
No.
based
Right.
on the way our hair is. Like
Right.
this called unprofessional, right?
Uh-huh.
So there had to be a law passed to make it illegal to discriminate against based off the way our hair naturally goes out of our head. Um,
Right.
so these are the things that you don't think about, that you're like, I don't wake up in the morning and think, do I need to straighten my hair because I'm going to a interview where there will be white people interviewing me and I can't wear my hair curly because I will not get this job.
Yeah.
I need to switch my name around because my name is going to get my application put to the bottom because what my name is. These are the things that on a daily basis, we have to think about going through life that you don't have to think about, and that
Right.
it's
Right.
difficult for us to just get through every day where you're just up and out and back
Right.
home. So
Yeah.
the conversations we have to have with our kids versus the conversations you might have with your kids. It's like, don't talk to this person. If the police come to you, don't say XYZ. There's conversations are different with our children. So yeah, just education. And I have a book that I think everyone should read, but especially white people. I'm gonna get the name of it and drop
Okay.
it to you before the night's over. Um,
Okay. Yeah, awesome.
yeah, she does a really great
Yeah.
job of explaining the difference. I think she says that like white people have a different. They think that like racism is bad or good. Like you're bad if you are racist. Um, and when you don't see yourself as a bad person, then you be like, well, I'm not racist because I'm a good person, right?
Right.
But then when she starts to explain the things that look like racism, then you're like,
Mhm.
oh, like that is that's different, right? Like when you think about
Yeah.
school systems and how much money is funded in different neighborhoods, when they start to look like the neighborhood I live in, there's probably 4 Black families over here. Um,
Mhm.
so that type of stuff, like not,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's so much, so much.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'm definitely open to any questions,
Yeah.
um, to answering anything. Like I don't know
I
what question.
appreciate that. Absolutely.
Can't think
And
of one off my head, but
yeah. And April said, it seems that people have lost the learning attitude, or at least it appears that way in social media.
Mhm, for sure. Um, I think people have lost a learning attitude because they want to have this appearance that it's not a real thing. Um, it- like, oh, it's 2020. Like, at first it was like, get over it. It was so long ago, but literally, it was only 100 years ago. Our grandparents are still alive.
Right.
Our grandparents and parents are still in that mindset of
Yeah.
be very weary of white people because this
Right.
is what they do to you. So we're still dealing with that attitude from our generations
Mm-hmm.
that were slaves.
Yeah.
And then even with white parents, again, it was only 100 years ago. Your grandparents or our great grandparents are still alive, so they had slaves. So to say it was so long and that we need to get over it, but then here we are still in 2020, still having to have these same conversations. It's not that long ago. We
Right.
just the civil rights movement was just in the 60s, and it wasn't that long ago. Like, it's
Right.
definitely still a real problem, especially when I do assessments. The first thing I do when I go in a company is I look at their C-suite. And guess
What's
what's
that?
there? Their CEO, their CFO, all of the people
Okay.
in charge. Yeah, their
Mm-hmm.
C-suite.
Right.
And it's all white male. It may be
Mhm.
a white woman somewhere,
Right.
maybe one other, maybe, but it's all white people there running the company.
Yeah.
So when you have a statement that says you promote diversity and inclusion, and you've written this beautiful statement that you're a diversity inclusion person, who by the way is black, because that's how you fixed your D&I problem, is you hired
Yeah.
a black D&I person,
Right.
which doesn't fix your problem.
No, not at
Um,
all.
but there's no path to the C-suite for anybody, for any minority. There's no path. There's no mentorship program. There's nothing to create diversity for that C-suite.
Mm-hmm.
You failed at creating diversity for that company, right? So
Mm-hmm.
those are the type of things that I go in and assess and tell them, like, you're saying that you're promoting diversity, but you're keeping the company white here by doing
Yeah.
this. Um, you know,
So, sorry. If somebody's in a company or in a business and they're not even the CEO, but they think there needs to be more diversity, what could they do?
so there's a couple of different ways. So request an organizational assessment, which is what I do, come in and really assess, because just because one person thinks that there's no diversity because the C-suite is there, there's ways to assess. They hold diversity awards every year. And I'll tell you, Kai's Permanente wins every every year. They have the
Mhm.
most diverse C-suite. They have the most diverse board of directors. They have people from all over the world in their C-suite. And then right behind them is Colgate. Colgate is amazing with their diversity efforts. Um, and people can take notes from these guys for on how it's done.
Yeah. And you had mentioned earlier about talking to your kids. Um, what is something you would say to your kids?
Yeah, so I actually had to have the conversation this morning because the People magazine was on the counter, and my daughter saw the George Floyd cover of People, and she asked why people were making signs. And
Mhm.
I think having age appropriate conversations is very important. And I think it starts early. I think in the early years, kids start to notice different colors, different shades, someone wearing a hijab, someone that looks different from them, and they start to ask questions. Kids are very inquisitive, um,
Right.
and want to know different things all the time. Two people tell the truth, and that's kids and drunk people. So want to make sure that they have the right information.
Yeah.
So starting those conversations early, with crayons, it's easy. The different color crayons, having them coloring, and even with our family, like, we are different shades. We're black, but we're different shades. So
Mhm.
um, having to explain why grandma is lighter than me. We've had these conversations early,
Mhm.
and picking up, the peach crayon to color grandma, and then the brown crayon to color someone else. And
Mhm.
I think they might have said she was white. They wanted to know why she was white. And I'm like, she's not white. She's just white.
Right.
So yeah, having those conversations early. And then one of the organizations that so in my business model is philanthropy. Two organizations that I fully support is the YWCA here, which is for domestic violence and women's
Mhm.
issues there. I support
Yeah.
them. And then Embrace Race is the second one. And Embrace Race teaches kids at an early age to be courageous and all races, not just
Yeah.
minorities, but of all races, to teach us about race and everything. So I really like that it's catching them at an early age and teaching diversity and inclusion and what what the world could be if we really embraced, because diversity, when people think of diversity, only think of race, and diversity and inclusion is not just about race. You know, that there's people with disabilities, and there's you know, the veteran population, and all of these things can, diversity of thought can get us so much innovation, and what we're
Mm-hmm.
missing out on when we don't include people. You have one thought, which is the all white male thought process, because they've all grown up pretty much the same way. You know, you're not getting that innovation. That's why we bring people from overseas on visas and things to come and bring us technology and innovation and things, because if we just had our thought process, we wouldn't have these um, new developments in
Yeah.
science and things. So yeah, embracerace.org is awesome for kids. They do webinars, they have book list of books that the kids can read that are age appropriate, ways to talk to your kids about race. It's awesome.
You said that was embracerace.org.
Embracerace.org. Yep. Part of my proceeds from my business goes to support that organization as well.
Very cool. I like that resource that we can check out. I know a lot of people are looking for answers right now, or how they can grow and change.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about Tori Bell and what happened there,
Oh, yes.
and who that is for people that don't know?
Yeah. So, I, of course, in my business, I do, you know, affiliate marketing with different companies or whatever. I had a client who had alopecia, and one of her blocks was going out without her wigs and lashes, things like that, because she had no hair. So that's how I ran into Tori Bell. It was one of my affiliate marketing companies. And from day one, I noticed, you know, when I first got there, I was like, hey, do you have any women of color, photos of women of color using your product? And it was a great question. They really didn't have any. I think they might have sent me 2 pictures. So I kind of became like the woman of color face. Early on, a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
business was on their website, on their Instagram, and I am the face on the affiliate banner, right? So I reached out. George Floyd incident happened. I gave them a couple of days to, you know, figure out what they were going to do. Clearly, nothing was happening. So I reached out to my upline and said, hey, is the CEO going to make a statement in reference to George Floyd? And, you know, nothing. They just kept talking about this new product that was coming out, and
Mm-hmm.
dumb little glitter things that were coming out. Um, Nothing. So I was like, okay, gave him another 2 days and nothing. So I came out of the group and asked specifically, hey, like what's going on? Are they going to make a statement? And she's like, well, I talked to her specifically, and she said she's not going there. And I was like, interesting, because there is my life. Um, like there, like
Yeah.
kind of rubbed me the wrong way that she called it there, being very dismissive of the situation, but that she's heartbroken about what happened. And I was like, I don't need her heartbreak. We need her platform and her voice, because as you know, women, us of color, our voices are not heard as much as someone who's of non-color, a white woman on a platform saying, you know, something. So that was the end of it. And so I was like, the decision had been made. You know, silence is agreement. I've posted this even before this, like that. I can't sit here and, you know, my son is out here protesting. You know, I'm a DNI professional. I'm in the military. Like all of
Mm-hmm.
it, like I'm fighting for your right. You know, I'm in the 1% that has joined the military, for your freedom, for you
Right.
to just say, not even want to acknowledge that human rights are being violated. Not Black rights, not, it doesn't matter the color, right? Just human rights are being violated. and that you stand by human rights. That's all. You're an ally. So that was my statement. I was exiting. It was I thought, very professional post saying, I can't stand by and watch this. And then she directed her response in a private group, not in public, in a private group, said that I had been vocal. So my one post was being vocal, and that I had not been forthcoming. So she called me a liar, and that she can't make a political statement for 30,000 affiliates. So those three things there were, it's a human right issue. Number one, it's not a political, because that means that there's a right and a wrong side. There's,
Right.
it's not.
Right.
And the fact that I've never spoken to this woman ever. So
Yeah.
she made the conversation sound as though she spoke to me. So those things made me really upset. But I chose, even still, like as Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. I just decided not to say anything.
Yeah.
Because the tribe came out. They went for her. So, they started posting and saying that she was wrong and responding that way. And she started muting them, deleting their responses. And they started screenshotting. And you can see it on my page where they screenshot. And if you notice in the screenshot, it's my face in her denying the comments, because my face is the face of the page, the affiliate page. So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you notice my face is there, for her not to know who I am. That's my face. That's being every denial post that she's making. That's my face.
Right.
Yeah. So it was just a really bad. She should have had, since she hadn't made a response, she should have continued to not make a response instead of making a response directed at a specific person. And she has to say that her values statement or her diversity statement covers George Floyd somehow. I don't know, when it doesn't, because I'm sure the Minneapolis Police Department has a statement in that covers their diversity, inclusion, and all this stuff statement, but yet they're still murdered a Black man. So you can't say that that is your response to something that happened after the fact, right? It's not. It was a poorly crafted response. I know she has no like legal team or nobody helping her with that, but whoever encouraged her to write that was like bad advice.
Yeah. I think that, well, I've seen social media influencers that are like you said, muting people or deleting their posts or deleting their comments because they offended somebody. Can you talk to that a little bit?
So I think hate speech and, calling someone names, or, if someone was like, literally one of the posts, because she sent me a screenshot of what she said. And I think she said something like, I hope you were open-minded enough to do something in the realm of that, but it wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't, it shouldn't have been muted, like you're taking people's voice away. You scream freedom of speech, and you have the right to not speak, and you have all these rights, but then nobody else has the right to respond, right? So it's like a one-sided, this is what it is, and shut up. She doesn't. I have the right to not respond to her, and then everybody else has the right not to say anything back to me. It's my way, or that's it. And then of course you get those people who are just followers that just dead follow people that don't have their own minds of their own. I have values, and I'm not gonna, money will never make me devalue where I stand on certain things, especially when it comes to my kids. My son standing outside protesting, and over some lashes, like it's definitely not going to happen. I wasn't even selling. I had ways been stopped even selling for the company, just because like a lot of my affiliates are people of color, and they were coming to me with these issues like, this is happening, I'm getting, this person's like racist and they're saying this, and it was just at one after the other. So I wasn't active mostly just personal. I was there for personal use. So even
Right.
now, even that is gone now. Like I had to find another vendor.
Well, I think that people think if there is a bad comment or somebody says something that you said wrong, that you're like so ashamed
Mhm.
and embarrassed. But it's like if you leave it up there, other people can learn too.
Yeah, like Jenna Kutcher, she made a comment and it went bad, and she was like, I apologize, and here is my open letter apologizing to the person. Or I just think that if you make a mistake, like I should have an email by now from somebody just saying, like, we messed up, like, we apologize, now we see where the error of our ways, um
Mm-hmm.
and we should have handled this differently. So on another note, like, if you have an employee or someone come to you and say, I'm feeling discriminated against, and you're totally dismissive of them, like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Even if they're not just being discriminated against, it's your duty to make them feel heard.
Bird. Yeah.
Like, I hear you, I understand, and to do your due diligence to be like, what can I do to make you feel better, because there's clearly something going on with this person, right?
Right.
Say that I wanted to be coddled or anything, but I definitely didn't expect her to come back with I you know a lot of us don't speak up because we get that we're the angry Black woman, where it's going to
Mm-hmm.
definitely go that way, so we just be quiet, we don't want to say anything. And I'm definitely not that. Like, I'm literally like, that's why I was like, what? Like, I'm literally not that person.
Yeah.
So for her, it really upset me to say that she spoke to me. And I was like, I've literally never spoken to you. Like, I
Yeah.
don't talk to you. So how do you say that, oh, that she's being very vocal? So
Yeah.
me talking is being very vocal, like, because I opened my mouth, I like typed on the computer is being very vocal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your post was tame. Like
Yeah.
it
I could,
wasn't crazy.
yeah.
It was just saying what happened.
Yeah. And I have, like, this is nothing. She said, yeah, I have screenshots. Like, I made sure I saved everything, especially for my next class on what not to do. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So I applaud you for standing up and for, speaking up not just for yourself, but for other Black women who want to see themselves represented.
yeah,
So I love that you did that.
yeah,
Um, so something I wanted to ask you about, and I know I'll try to hurry a little bit because I know that it's got to be late for you over there. But before we hopped on, I told you about the word colored and how I thought that was offensive, and I've always known it to be offensive, but now I'm seeing everywhere like women of color. Can you kind of talk to that a little bit?
yeah. So we were talking, and so colored with the ed at the end is definitely offensive. So that's an old term used back when segregation was a thing, and colored's over here, white's over here. Definitely an offensive term, and it will get you fired up. But women of color means, a different term. Women who have melanin. It can be clumped all into one without having to, call out all the different backgrounds of people. Women of color. So yeah, definitely women of color is a safe term to use when you don't know. People of color, um, BIPOC,
Yeah.
BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color is a brand new, hot off the press terms that just came out. I've literally just learned it too. So there's a whole bunch of different categories. So
Right.
yeah,
But maybe the takeaway it sounds like from you is ask questions where you don't
yeah.
understand, to ask questions.
Yeah, because some African American and Black, some people don't like to be called Black. And then the little b versus the big B, capitalizing Black if you're using Black without, if you're speaking of someone like they're Black with the big B. So yeah, it's a lot, but I just think you're safe with women of color, people of color,
Right.
um, but definitely never
Wait.
use colored.
Okay, I don't know the little B, the big B. Can you tell me about that?
With the capital B is it's like as it's a like a noun versus a little b,
Okay.
just
Okay.
black, the color black,
Right.
versus it being an actual, you're talking about someone of color.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for explaining that.
No problem. I have cheat cards.
So what's that?
I have some cheat cards for you after this.
I love it. I love it. I will take them. How can we connect with you?
I am on Instagram at Lekeshia_Angelique. You'll probably have to spell that out in the well, it's
I
my
will
name.
put it in the chat. Yes. But I'll still put it in the chat.
Okay. And then on Facebook, my business page is just Love Her Wellness, so the at Love Her Wellness. And then the tribe is Love Her Tribe.
Yes. Thank you so much. You're such a badass. I totally appreciate you coming on here and talking to us tonight.
No problem. I hope that you got something out of this. I didn't bore your audience to sleep over here, and they enjoyed me being on here.
Yes. April just popped in and said, thank you so much for this conversation, ladies. I know that she said that, and then I'm just saying, I know everybody's going to get value from it because it was a great conversation.
Thanks.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Great.
All right. You too. Bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Lekeshia was such a badass, and she was so gracious to answer all of our questions. If you're wondering about the book that Lekeshia recommended, it is called White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. I have downloaded it onto my Audible or Amazon Audible so that I can give it a listen because it seems to be sold out in paper form. I would love if you went onto the show notes page and left a comment for Lekeshia and I to let us know what you thought of the episode. In whatever podcast app you're playing this episode on, there's notes and it will show the link for the show notes page. Click that and leave us a comment. If you want to hear more conversations like this, join the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. Every Wednesday night, I have a guest in the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. We go live and we talk about different issues. Most of those episodes or most of those conversations will never make this podcast. So if you want to be a part of a badass group of women and hear these conversations that we're having every Wednesday night at 7 p.m., go to Facebook and join the Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. Talk to you next week, friend.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.